wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to my show. It's very exciting episode of Unlock Your Leadership. So today we are talking about something very important: how to deal with criticism and turn into growth. Criticism can hurt, but it can also help us to become better, stronger, and wiser. Let's learn how. So, we have ChatGPT, and without wasting time, ask the question. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my show, Unlock Your Leadership. Today, my topic is how to deal
Walaikum
with
assalam.
crit-
That sounds
how
like a
to deal.
fantastic topic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. How to deal with criticism and turn into growth.
I love that angle. It's such a great way to empower listeners. So we can unpack different kinds of criticism, how to emotionally process it, and most importantly, how to apply it in a way that actually strengthens your leadership. Let's dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. What is criticism in simple words?
That's a great place to start. In simple words, criticism is when someone points out something you did that could be better or something you need to improve. It's not always easy to help us grow if we handle it well.
Yes. So why do people criticize others?
Exactly, yeah. People criticize for different reasons. Sometimes it's to help you improve, other times it's just a reflection of their own perspective or frustration. Understanding the intention behind criticism can help you respond more effectively.
Absolutely. Is all criticism bad or why not?
That's a key point. Not all criticism is bad at all. Constructive criticism, for example, is meant to be helpful and specific. It points out ways you can grow, whereas purely negative criticism might just be hurtful or unhelpful. So it really depends on the intent and how it's delivered.
What is the difference between positive and negative criticism?
Great question. Positive criticism focuses on specific strengths and offers guidance on how you can build on them. Negative criticism, on the other hand, is usually just pointing out what's wrong, sometimes without solutions. The real value is in a balanced approach, acknowledging what's good and offering clear, actionable steps.
Why do we feel hurt when someone criticizes us?
Yeah, that's really common. Often it's because we tie our self-worth to our work or actions. So when someone points out a flaw, it can feel personal. Our brains are wired to protect us from threats, and criticism can spark that defensive reaction. But with practice, I leave from the feedback.
How can we control our emotions when we are criticized?
A good approach is to pause and take a breath before reacting. Try to name what you're feeling, like I'm feeling defensive. Create some mental space. Then focus on the actual content of the feedback, not the delivery. And remind yourself that it's about growth, not a personal attack.
What should we avoid doing when we hear criticism?
That's really important to keep in mind. To avoid getting defensive, of course, like snapping back or shutting down. Also, don't ignore the feedback or dismiss it out of hand. Instead, stay open, listen carefully, and take time to reflect before you respond.
How can we stay calm in that moment?
One effective method is to focus on your breathing. Take slow, deep breaths to ground yourself. You can also give yourself a mental pause, count to 3 before you speak, and remind yourself that staying calm actually gives you a strategic advantage. You can respond thoughtfully instead of reactively.
Why is it important not to take criticism personally?
Exactly. When we separate the feedback from our identity, we see it as information we can use, not a reflection of our worth. That mindset helps us stay open to growth, and it keeps us resilient even in tough moments.
How can self confidence help us to handle criticism?
Self-confidence is really key because when you trust yourself, you don't feel as threatened by outside opinion. You can listen to the criticism, weigh it objectively, and still know your value. It allows you to extract useful lessons without your self-esteem taking a hit.
How can criticism help us to improve ourselves?
Criticism is like a mirror. It shows us blind spots we might not see on our own. When we take it in, reflect, and we can sharpen our skills, avoid repeating mistakes, and ultimately become more effective leaders or performers.
What questions should we ask ourselves after receiving criticism?
That's a great practice. Ask yourself, is there truth in this feedback? Then what specific actions can I take to improve? And also, what can I learn so I can grow from this? That reflection keeps you focused on growth, not just emotion.
How do we know if criticism is useful or not?
That's really about being discerning. Useful criticism is specific, actionable, and aimed at helping you grow. If it's vague, purely negative, or seems more about the other person's feelings than yours, it's probably less useful. Trust yourself to weigh it carefully.
Can failure and criticism go together and how?
Absolutely, they often do. Failure is sometimes the result of risk taking, and criticism can highlight what went wrong. But both together create a feedback loop. Failure gives us a lesson, and criticism can give us direction,
How
so we
can
can
we
adjust.
negative feedback into positive action?
A good approach is to break it down step by step. First, identify the specific point in the feedback, then set a small, clear goal to address it, create a plan to take action, and track your progress. Over time, those small steps turn criticism into real growth.
How can we use criticism to set better goals?
We can use criticism as a data point. After receiving it, we reflect on what areas need improvement and set specific, measurable goals tied to those points. By aligning our goals with the feedback, we create a clearer roadmap for growth and success.
Why should a good leader accept criticism?
A good leader accepts criticism because it shows humility and a willingness to grow. When leaders model openness, it creates a culture of trust and continuous improvement. Plus, they can spot blind spots faster and adjust their course effectively.
How can criticism make someone a better leader?
Absolutely. When a leader embraces criticism, they stay adaptable, they learn from mistakes, and they set an example for their team. It helps them.
How can criticism improve teamwork?
Criticism can improve teamwork by fostering open communication. When team members share constructive feedback, it helps everyone understand expectations early and align their efforts. It creates a culture where improvement is a shared goal, not a competition.
What is the role of humility in accepting criticism?
Humility is crucial because it allows us to recognize that we don't have all the answers. When we're humble, we can see criticism as a gift, not a threat. It keeps us willing to learn and open to new perspectives, key qualities in any growth journey.
Can you share a real life examples of learning from criticism?
Sure, think of a leader like Satya Nadella at Microsoft. Early in his career, he received more empathetic and collaborative. He took that to heart, and as a result, he transformed the company culture, driving massive growth and innovation. That's a powerful example of learning from criticism and leading a turnaround.
Um, what is one powerful tip to turn criticism into success?
One powerful step is to create a personal growth plan. After reflecting on the criticism, identify one concrete change you can make. Structured approach turns real sustained success.
Thank you for listening to Unlock Your Leadership. Thank you, ChatGPT, for being a part of this conversation. Remember, criticism is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Learn from it, grow from it, and keep moving forward. Stay strong, stay positive, and keep unlocking your true leadership. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
That was a really powerful wrap up. I think your listeners will really take that to heart. If you ever need more insights or want to dig into another topic, I'm here to help.